It's time to Revoltage.
Is that a thing?
Is that no?
That doesn't sound right.
Is that too intense? Here, let's start over.
Okay.
It is time for Revoltage, your Japanese podcast. No,
We're not Japanese.
what about?
We're not in Japan.
What about Revoltage?
Why you change your voice every time?
What are you talking about?
It
I
doesn't.
just get in the zone. I just go with how I feel, you know? I let the universe tell me how to start these.
Hola out there in Radio Land.
Hola, mi amigos. Los Revoltage es right now.
That's the weirdest start.
We have killed any listeners that
They've clicked off already.
Done.
They're like,
We're
this is the worst. Who are these
We're
dumbasses?
never going to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can make a lot of money on YouTube and become famous in the next PewDiePie.
That's the goal.
I am the Japanese wrestling PewDiePie.
First of all, is it PewDiePie?
I don't know.
You keep saying PewDiePie.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so first things first, we did miss the last match, unfortunately.
We did.
I fell victim to the flu and was on my deathbed during New Beginnings, and
I believe I was sick too.
I think it was just there was a lot going on.
Yeah, I had a lot happen. It wasn't feasible to watch that long of several shows. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we're actually going to skip that a little bit, but we might talk about some of the things that happened in that, but we're not going to do a deep dive on it. We are, however, going to be talking about Honor Rising, which is the Ring of Honor people going over to New Japan and showing them what about that American muscle's all about.
Well, it's a Ring of Honor New Japan tag team.
Slumber Party.
Yeah, it's a team up basically because there's a lot of New Japan guys on this. I mean, it's mostly a New Japan show, but there's several Ring of Honor people.
Yes.
Or people who are in Ring of Honor / New Japan. So
yeah. So let's just get right into it. We've got we're gonna work backwards, so you guys don't have to sit through 45 minutes of us making penis jokes.
We're going to anyway, but
but you're gonna get to hear the main event first.
Yeah.
So then
you only have to listen to like 10 minutes of penis jokes.
Yeah.
And then you can just check out
you
after
just
that.
go to any other
We just
wrestling
want we just want your click.
We need your clicks. We need your subscriptions.
We just need your views.
We need your likes. Yeah. So if you could go ahead and like,
subscribe,
and pass this on to your friends.
Comment, like, subscribe.
Yeah. And then we can make a lot of money.
I do love that. Like like the one comment we got. It's so. We're happy for any comment that we get. That's great, but it's just so indicative of the internet that the one comment that we received was basically like, actually, Kenny Omega did do that on the last pay-per-view.
Oh, come on, I apologize to our loyal fan who reached out to us. Nobody's ever going to comment. They're going to be like, I'm going to bring up a good point, and then Kellen's just going to go over there and rake me over the coals.
I said I appreciate every comment we get. I'm just saying.
Your words are saying one thing.
That is indicative of the internet.
But your body's saying another thing.
My mind's telling me no, but my body is telling me yeah. Sorry.
No, honestly, it's great because we actually do love the discussion. Mm-hmm. And I actually was glad the guy said that because we honestly... Oh, was it?
I think
awesome.
So. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, even cooler.
Hell yeah.
No, I love it, and thank you so much for commenting. We just like any sort of interaction with people.
Well, and let's be honest, there are going to be other people out there that know more than us, and so we don't know that much. We are happy to be put in our place. We're doing this because we love it.
Yeah.
Not because we have any purpose or reason to be here.
No, we just like wrestling.
We do not belong here.
We just are two fans who enjoy wrestling and enjoy talking about wrestling, and we're glad for any interaction because, like with any other fan base, we love talking to people who love the same things we do.
Yeah, and so we encourage you guys to have that discussion with us. If you hear if we did something wrong,
sorry if I alienated you or. But I was just saying, it's just funny.
Our subscription count's going to go down now by 1.
It's going to go from 9 to 8.
No, yeah.
No, it's like 12. Give us some credit.
My mom we've got my dad subscribing.
Plus, we haven't
we're
done
both subscribed.
It's true.
My other 7 channels are subscribed.
Plus, we haven't done a show in like a month. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. So, yeah, please reach out to us. We want you to hear from you guys, and
I love any comment that comes in.
cool, so. Except for that one. Apparently.
No, I liked that one too.
I'm kidding.
You're missing the point.
Yeah, so let's just jump into the Honor Rising. So
yeah, for sure.
the main event, man, this is unfolding before our eyes, the complete implosion of Bullet Club. Mm-hmm. It's something that we were talking about with the very subtle hints, from before even Wrestle Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
And
I think this has been a long time coming. I think it's been in the works for, excuse me, I think it's been in the works for a while. I think that you can tell if you've been watching, if you do keep up with Being the Elite, if you do keep up with things like that, you can slowly see hints of things. And now that it's all coming, they've been teasing this for months. Like, they've been leading this direction on, like, Being the Elite for months.
see, you say that, but Bullet Club is fine.
No, Bullet Club is fine. I'm just saying.
But they keep saying it's fine, so it's fine, right?
Logan.
Huh?
It's not fine.
Oh, did I just get marked?
You got super marked.
Oh, dang.
Might as well change your name to Mark. Marky Mark.
Yeah, so it's awesome though. One thing that we really like about how they're telling the story is, the Japanese tell a story one way and the Americans tell a story another way. Mm-hmm. The Japanese like to tell all their stories in the ring, and they go very subtle with it in the sense that they say, so-and-so cut somebody off in a promo. Right. It's very disrespectful. Now they have to settle it in a match. Whereas the Americans tell stories in very big, different channels and more of a vast way. And they really like the, kind of more the acting aspect of it and really go kind of all out on this and try to make it a lot more clear as opposed to the subtleties. So
I think you said it best when you said that Japanese rely more on like symbolism.
Yeah.
You said they use more symbolism, whereas us and, because they are telling a story for New Japan. They're telling this Bullet Club story in New Japan, in Ring of Honor, on Being the Elite, on the Bullet Club's channel on YouTube, which is actually like the Tonga channel. Mm-hmm. So it's all across the board. We're getting different views of the same story. And
perspectives, yeah.
And it's like you can, if you've never seen Being the Elite, you still know the story. If you've never watched New Japan, you can still keep up with the story. If you've never watched the Tonga's channel, you can keep up with the story. It's just great. It's great the way they're telling it. I think that's I hate to use this word again, but I think that's very indicative of where the business is going.
Yeah.
That it's starting to evolve with the times and evolve with...
And I think it's that American touch, which is nice because I feel like it's a nice balance because I feel like WWE has gone way overboard on the drama side of it, where it's 30 minutes of talking and 5 minutes of wrestling, whereas in the way that they're telling the Bullet Club story is there's these other channels that are furthering the story, but when you turn on New Japan, you're watching wrestling. You're not watching, the drama unfold. You're not watching, who kissed who backstage kind of thing.
They tell the story in the ring.
Right, but they have those other channels to tell you all the backstory. So a good example is, on Being the Elite when Kenny and Cody walk in to the same room, and the first thing Kenny says when he sees Cody, it is, "Oh well, look who it is! It's the Snake himself, the 3-star King."
Yeah, and on the 3-star Savior.
Yeah, 3-star Savior.
and not only that, but I love Cody when he walks in and sees all the guys having a conversation, and he says, "Somebody call a meeting? I didn't call a meeting." Like, he's just so arrogant and so like, this is, and like he says, and we'll get, a spoiler, but why are you listening to this if you don't want to hear spoilers?
Yeah, by the way, don't listen to this if you haven't seen this stuff yet, unless
if you haven't watched
want
Honor
to be
Rising,
just completely spoiled.
Day 1. We're not going to talk about Day 2 in this one. We're just going to talk about Day 1. But, he says basically at the end of this match we're about to talk about, he says, Bullet Club is fine, and on top of that, Bullet Club is mine. And it's that attitude of, this is my show, this is my group. What I love about that, he's only been in Bullet Club for like a year and a half, and immediately he's taking on that role of, this is mine. I lead this show. I run this. Like, I love it. I love Cody's character. I love the character he's become. It's so good.
Such a perfect heel too.
Perfect.
You know, he's on like Miz levels of heat right now.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because you look at, especially a promotion like New Japan that's full of heels. You look at some of the highest tier heels over there, and you've got maybe Bad Luck Fale and Suzuki. Those are the two that immediately come to mind that are all out heel.
Naito is pretty healed now.
Yeah, but even then, like he has face moments.
That's true.
Whereas
That's true.
and he does things that are like, especially with his
You're right.
Tranquilo style or Tranquillo, however you say it.
Tranquillo.
He's doing this more chill out. A good example is if he was a full on heel, he would have gone after Jericho. He would have thrown the chair at Jericho.
Right.
And so,
well, Jericho's a good, at least with this newest New Japan kind of thing, of a good heel.
Yeah.
Of someone who's just straight across the board heel.
Yeah. So I really think that, though, looking at the Japanese guys, the main roster there, nobody's building heat like Cody is. And he's standing out from the bunch from heels. And he's doing it with in a couple different ways. One, he is doing classic heel tactics, which I love. Yes. He's doing eye rakes. He's doing, he's playing the coward. He's cheap shotting. He's doing all those things.
Things you don't see anymore.
Yeah.
Like the things that heels aren't doing anymore. Like he was like when him and in this match, when him and Kenny finally meet up and they back up against each other and they go, and he turns around and sees that it's Kenny and goes, whoa, 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 puts his hands up and goes, hold on, whoa, 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 come on, easy. And then he immediately like rakes his eyes. Like that's such a heel thing that I feel like a lot of people don't do that anymore. I feel like a lot of people don't do the hold on, whoa, whoa, the old Ric Flair style where he would drop to his knees and be like, please, whoa, hold on, please don't. Like the scared coward who eventually like uses some sort of cheating. I love that. I love, and not even that, but everything he's doing during the match, around the match, like because this is the return in this match is the return of the Golden Lovers for the first time.
Yes.
So we're seeing Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi together as the Golden Lovers again. And people are so excited when they came out and they were cheering Golden Lovers, and so excited. And what's the first thing Cody does? He goes and grabs somebody's Golden Lovers sign and hawks one on it.
Yeah, spits all over it. Yeah. No, it's amazing. And so it's so cool because one, Cody's catching atomic heat right now. And two, they are really building up the Golden Lovers as well. So we saw a perfect blend of, the kind of a return to form for the Bullet Club because they kind of started becoming so popular, especially with Omega, that they started losing the ability to be ultimate heels. Whereas Cody in the limelight, if he is going to be the leader, who knows, they can really come back to that we are full on heels, and this gives Kenny a face turn. And so because slowly you started seeing Kenny kind of get away from those heel tactics, and he started really, because he was just so over.
Kenny's not a heel anymore.
He's no longer a heel.
He's just not.
So it was so great to see that balance there starting to kind of return, where Bullet Club is more traditional heels, and now Kenny is this, and Ibushi are super face, and they're really using that to really push the Golden Lovers.
Agreed, yeah. And I think it is strange when you really look at the Bullet Club as a whole, and you look at this divide that they have now, where you have the Omega, the Cody, and now the OG Bullet Club, which is just the old school guys. And when you think about it, Bullet Club was a heel stable. That was the whole thing. They were a heel stable. But then you start looking at like all the being the elite guys. You look at the Young Bucks, Paige, Skrull, Cody, Omega. They were all becoming likable. They all were liked. And so people were starting to not view them as heels anymore. Now you have this Cody turn where Cody's just a full-on heel. And then you start to notice like other things too. Like the Young Bucks are really well liked. They're not heels. I mean, they do things that are kind of heelish, like they're just really arrogant and things, but they're not heels. Marty is the villain, but he's not really a heel. He's super well liked. He does things that are heelish, but he's super well liked, and he's not really a full-on heel. But then, in this one too, we'll talk about it, but then you see guys like Fale and I always forget the Tokyo Pimp's actual name. I think it's
his last name is Takahashi.
Takahashi. So you see him, and in their match that they had, the first match of the night, they were healing it up, man. After the bell had already rung, Takahashi just starts taking the boots to I think Kitamura just starts taking the boots to him, and it's like there's this.
But real quick, is he a true heel as long as he keeps bringing Muffin Ass out?
No,
because as long as he's doing that, he's gonna be so over.
Well, it wasn't Muffin Ass that was at this time.
Oh, it was some random girl.
Another girl, but she was just fine.
She was on par with Muffin Ass.
She was much like the Bullet Club.
Oh, that's right.
And
so
she was fine.
What's funny is, so I was actually doing something else while that sounds weird when I say it.
Oh, that's right, with that hot chick. I was doing something totally different during the time she was out.
I was actually working on a project, and so I just kind of looked up every now and then. Project. And what's funny is she had a giant tattoo, and I was like, oh, looks like Muffin Ass got like a huge like tramp stamp, but
it's not her.
Totally different. That makes sense.
I like that you call her Muffin Ass.
I mean, I don't know her real name.
I know, but
she calls herself that, so
it's something like that. Yeah.
It's okay though, right?
Yeah.
If she calls her that, I can call her that.
Sure. Don't call anybody else that.
All right, Muffin Ass.
Biscuit butt. but I just think, but the point is, I think that you're seeing, and also the Tongas, like you're seeing, there's still heel aspects to Bullet Club, and it's much like the way Bullet Club is. It's split. You have heels, you have faces, you have good guys, you have bad guys, you have fringe, you have enemies. It's this like really weird thing, and I love it. I love everything they're doing because it goes back to the storytelling. The storytelling is such a big part, and this match, which is a 6-man tag match, which I don't even know if we've said this, but it's a 6-man tag match with Omega, Ibushi, and Chase Owens, who's also in the Bullet Club.
Wait, real quick. Can you tell the story about how he came into that match?
Oh, yeah.
From Being the Elite.
So if you watch Being the Elite, or if you don't, basically, Kenny Omega goes to Chase Owens and says, Chase, man, we've been buddies for a long time. You're OG Bullet Club. You've been with us since the beginning. Like, you got my back, right? You're Team Kenny, right? And he's like, no. He's like, I'm Team Tonga. Like, he's like, I'm with Tonga. I'm not with either one of you guys. He's like, come on, man. He's like, I need your help. You know, I need you to team up with me and Ibushi for Honor Rising, you know. And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, I don't really want to get involved with all that. And he was playing basketball. Like, he was like in some warehouse, like playing basketball. And Kenny like grabs the ball from me. He goes, I'll tell you what, if I can make this shot, which was like a long, like half court shot or whatever, but he's like, if I can make this shot, then you join my team for Honor Rising. And he's like, okay, sure. And he like, so Kenny like shoots the basket or shoots the ball, makes it, and he's like, all right, man, see you there. And he's like, okay, cool. And then like later on Honor Rising, they're like, Chase Owens, who was brought into this match because of a basketball shot that Kenny Omega made. It was so random and weird that's why he's in this match. Because of
I love it.
Because Kenny Omega made a basketball shot.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But so yeah, I mean, so then you had that on one side, and then you had Cody and
Hangman Page
and
Marty
Scurll on the other. Now, one thing that I really love is how they're playing Marty Scurll in this whole thing. And, and me and Kellen were talking about this earlier, and we said, I said that, you know, what's interesting is with the villain, we haven't seen the villain be all that villainous lately. He's been a little more, especially with how him being kind of conflicted and talking about loyalty and things like that. That's not very villainous. So I think what would be awesome to see is I think, because what I think they're doing is they're really, what happened is certain people start becoming more face in Bullet Club, and it quit kind of having that spirit of the Bullet Club there. So I think they're going to start splitting up the people who are faces and the people who are villains or heels and push them back into where they should be. And so I have a feeling that Marty Scurll is going to have a return to form as a true villain, the vile creature, by just going all in on either Cody or turning his back on maybe everybody. Who knows? But I think he's going to. I don't think he's going to be the one to bring Bullet Club together. If anything, he either removes himself from Bullet Club, or he does something treacherous to somebody else.
Well, and right now he's very much that's another part of this story. That's another part of the thing is he's conflicted. He doesn't know, Kenny Omega is the one that brought him into the Bullet Club. So he doesn't want to be against Kenny. He doesn't want to be against Cody. He doesn't want to be against anybody. That's why the whole match, he's very much like, there's parts where Hangman's like, get your ass in here. And he doesn't even really want to face Kenny. And there's a part where him and Kenny are facing each other, and he's like, and he's in the ring in front of him going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, and then on the outside at the end of the match, when they start fighting, he's like, no, why are we doing this? Like, Marty's the whole time is like, stop it. Like, this is not part of it, and Cody's doing all these heel things. And so Paige and Hangman Page and Cody start making fun of Kenny Omega, and they do when they get down on his
what is it? Terminator Rising?
Yeah, Terminator Rising, and they do that move, and they do the ba, and they do that, and then they jump out and do the double Terminator Rising to the outside, and the whole time Marty's standing there shaking his head going, no, we don't have to do that. And then he jumps on the outside, does his own thing, and then he's sitting there saying to him, we don't need to do that. Stop doing that. Like, that's not what we're here for. Yeah. And then they start fighting at the end, and the Young Bucks come out, and Nick has a Kenny Omega shirt on, and Matt has a Cody shirt on. It's like and then the whole time Marty's going, let's go to the back. Let's not do this out here. Let's not do this. And it's just, and then Cody's like manipulating everything, and he jumped on. The whole reason a lot of this got started recently was because Hangman tried to, was that in New Beginnings?
No, was that New Beginnings? No, was that Wrestle Kingdom? I can't remember now.
It was Sapporo. I think it was New Beginnings.
That was New Beginnings.
It was New Beginnings. So we did see some of New Beginnings.
I've seen it all.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
you haven't done your homework.
I haven't seen all of it. I've seen a good portion, but
he watched the YouTube highlights.
Wrong. Wrong.
It's all right. I mean, I just thought you were a fan of Japanese wrestling. That's cool.
I fucking hate you. I don't even know why I do this with you.
I don't either, because you don't even watch them anymore.
What are we talking about right now? I missed like one show, but
like 5 shows. It's fine.
Like 2, like at max. You missed it. You said you. Okay. Anyway, so YouTube highlights. First of all, it was Instagram highlights. Let's get it right. Okay. Second of all,
it was Wrestling Classic.
No, I actually did go and watch quite a bit of it.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to Wrestling Classic. That dude is awesome.
Yeah. Hey, and Revoltage is fine. Now we're gonna get Ray and Pat in here, and they're gonna be wearing each other's shirts and
Team Kellen and Team Logan. Team Ocito and Team Vandaloso, they're gonna be wearing our shirts, but it's like my face on yours and your face on me.
We're just like coloring out the other's face on the shirt.
It's like the no symbol.
Fuck this guy.
I just like the way that they've been. Just the way that they're told. But what I was saying was the whole reason that this started was because, well, it's been building for a long time, but the big at New Beginnings, which we didn't really talk about, but New Beginnings, Hangman tried to challenge Switchblade. Kenny stopped him from doing that. That pissed Cody off, and that's when all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was Cody was saying, he stole your moment. He stole your moment. Like, that was your moment, and he took it.
And it wasn't his place to do that, and he wasn't acting like a leader by doing that.
Correct. And, but then, so Paige sides with Cody, but then at the end of this match, Paige gets the pin and does a lot of cool shit, but Cody immediately starts fighting with Kenny on the outside, taking away all attention from when the Paige just got. So Cody did the exact same thing that Kenny did. He took his moment. And at the end of the match, they say that, and Cody says, "Okay, yeah, I took your moment. You're right, but so did he." So
he says, "Hey, and you know the media, you come talk to him. This isn't about me. This is about Hangman Page right now.
Right.
If you guys need to say anything, say it to him." And he walks out, and he's like, "This is your spotlight. I'm giving you back the spotlight. I'm sorry." He walks away, and Paige sits there for about 2 seconds, and then just walks off. Yep. Like he's just like, "Screw this. Like I don't want this just handed to me. He's trying to earn it. Yeah.
Wants to earn it. Hungman Page. That's what they call him.
Oh, I know.
Call him the Hungman.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's a rabbit hole we're not going to go down. Because we need that YouTube sponsorship.
That would be monetized. But yeah, overall though, it was a really good match. That I think the biggest part of this match was there was really cool spots, and there was obviously, you have Kenny Omega and Ibushi in here doing some really, really cool stuff, very athletic stuff. They're doing that golden triangle to the outside, that golden triangle to the outside, which is basically the moonsaults on the outside, and super cool stuff. They're doing a lot of neat stuff.
Real quick to bounce off of that. There's, if you guys haven't seen the documentary on New Japan World, it's so cool.
It's really good.
It's just like a media day with Ibushi, and he's just talking about, how he's training and stuff like that. And, maybe 5 minutes into the documentary, Kenny Omega walks in and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And, they play it off like it was, not expected. And it was awesome though, because they started talking about why they work together so well. And what's interesting was they said that they were talking about doing their moves in tandem and how they have the same bodily rhythm as each other. And they didn't really know, and maybe this is kayfabe, maybe this isn't, but they said that their bodies flip and they just naturally move in a lot of the same manner. So when they do these moves together, they're very mirroring of each other. Certain people flip a different way, or certain people have to, squat down more, or something like that, just because of how they have to move their bodies. And so it's really cool that their bodies are naturally in sync, which just goes way more into the Golden Lovers angle, is that they are more than just tag team partners. There's something right with the universe when they're together, which is really cool. And they talk about a lot of that when in that documentary. So I highly recommend watching that.
Yeah, it's really good. I really, really enjoyed watching that a lot. I like the way they did it. I like the way that New Japan just approaches things storyline wise, and with the buildup of all this stuff. And but like I said, the spots in the match were really cool. There was a lot of the cool thing about this match was it was a good wrestling match, but it was more about the storytelling, like the things that were happening on the outside, the things with Marty, the things with Cody's heel tactics, the things with Paige, the things how Paige is with Cody, but then he's kind of irritated at the whole situation, and then, the Golden Lovers and all that, and then Chase Owens, who's just there, and but he's kind of still a part of this Tonga situation, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I think the whole storytelling aspect of it, the whole story that they're telling here of the breaking up of the Bullet Club, of the reunion of the Golden Lovers, it's just great. It's really good.
It's fantastic.
I highly recommend researching it, watching it, just getting a part of it, because it's just a really cool thing that they're doing. It's so big and so all-encompassing that it's just really interesting.
Yeah, and something I want to...
That's good TV, man.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the other matches pretty quick, but the last thing I want to say about this is, thoughts and predictions on what happens to the Bullet Club now. My thought is that the OGs stick around. You see the Tongas are all fine. They are actually fine. OG Bullet Club is fine. Bullet Club, Gaijin Bullet Club is not fine. Very obviously
they're
not
all
fine.
Gaijins.
Well, you get what I'm saying. The American Bullet Club, the Ring of Honor Bullet Club, they are very much falling apart.
They're all Gaijins.
I get it. You're a Gaijin.
You have a Gaijin.
So there's so much turmoil there, and Bullet Club got so big, and there were so many different pieces to it that I think what's going to happen is New Japan is going to keep Bullet Club. As the OGs, as the Tongas. Right. And then I think the American Bullet Club is going to obviously split up. Kenny Omega's out. He's definitely out. He's not coming back.
Being the elite version.
So I think what's going to happen is, I don't know if we talked about this in the last podcast or not, but I was expecting Kenny and the Bucks to go off and do the elite. But with the Golden Lovers reunion, they can't do that, because if they're going to be a tag team, then there's no way that you can have two tag teams in the same stable, because one, you don't ever wrestle each other in a stable. New Japan is very adamant about you don't wrestle each other.
Even though they're doing it right now.
Well, that's the thing. It's because it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And so if you do wrestle each other, then that is very clearly turmoil within the group, and you're not going to come back from that. So I think that Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi go off on their own. Kenny becomes tag team champs and whatever, which to me, long term, tells me that Kenny Omega probably isn't going to be heavyweight champ, and they're probably going to give it to Naito next year or sometime. Because my question was, does Kenny or Naito get the heavyweight championship? Now, if Kenny and Ibushi go and do their tag team, then they can get the tag team titles, and Naito can get the heavyweight championship, which is how it should be happening. 2, the Bucks go off, and that's a really good setup to have Kenny and Ibushi, Golden Lovers versus the Bucks, which would be fantastic. The Bucks will either go off and do their own thing, or maybe they split up and go with Skrull. I think what's going to happen is Bullet Club as the American group is going to dismantle. I don't think it's going to be called the Bullet Club. It might be the same people, but I think they're going to split off into their own faction.
Well, because right now they've kind of already done that sort of, because they even said in that last Being the Elite that they said there's a divide here. Yeah. There's the OG Bullet Club, and then there's Being the Elite. So you have Kenny, Cody, Marty, Hangman, and the Bucks as being the Elite, and then you have the Tongas, Takahashi, Fale, Chase Owens, that other guy. Like, I always forget that he's the bigger guy. He's kind of got like the mohawk type hair. I always forget.
That's Loa Tonga.
No.
Tonga Loa.
No. It's not. He's not a Tonga.
Oh.
He's just another guy. He was the one that was sitting right next to.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah, that one dude.
He's the other guy. He's the other Bullet Club guy. But anyway, I
don't think I've ever seen him wrestle, actually.
And they said I have, but I just forget his name. But anyway, because he wears like a singlet kind of thing. But anyway, he says, but the Bucks say to him, "There's a divide here. There's Being the Elite, and there's the Tongas, or not the Tongas, sorry, but in the OG Bullet Club." But the thing is, there's no heat here. There's no problems here. The problems are between these two guys, Cody and Kenny. And then there's that other part of the angle where we don't know what happened, but I've shown it to you, where Kenny and Ibushi show up at the Young Bucks' door. Some conversation took place, but nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
And they keep alluding to it. They keep showing that door, that 217 door. And it keeps going back to Matt having a flashback to that 217 door, but they never say what happened. And at one point, they're like talking to Flip Gordon about he's a psychiatrist. And they're like, so that's what happened in room 217. He's like, wow, that's fascinating. But they never said what it was. So nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows what's going on between the Bucks and them. Also, the Bucks are making a transition. They keep alluding to them making a transition as heavyweights, that they're about to move into the heavyweights. Yeah. So there's a lot going on with this, a ton going on with this. I think you're right. I think there's going to be some division. I'm kind of with you on Kenny's going to be out, that something's going to happen with Kenny. I don't know. Maybe Cody will be out too. I don't know what's going to happen. I know there's going to be some sort of split up. I think you're right where the OGs are going to stay together. That whole group's going to stay together. I don't know if they're going to create a new group. I don't know if they're going to have a split, but there is going to be a split. Something is going to happen. Where the Bucks stay, I don't know, because the Bucks are Bullet Club, man. I mean, I think that they may even stay with the OGs.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be the Elite. I don't think the Bucks are going to stay with Bullet Club. I think they're going to form the Elite, because if you look,
well, the Elite is them and Kenny Omega.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I think that what's going to happen is the OG or the American Bullet Club is going to split off into whether it's called the Elite or whatever. I think the Bucks are going to end up with them, and then I think Kenny Omega, because you have to split up Omega and the Bucks.
So I'm saying, I think Omega's going to go do his own thing with Ibushi. I think the Bucks are going to stay with Bullet Club.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to be called Bullet Club. That's my thing. I don't think that.
I think there's going to be the same split that there is right now. There's going to be the OG Bullet Club, and then there's going to be the Being the Elite.
Yeah, and
it's going to be that same.
I hope that they all get kicked out of Bullet Club. I would love to see them just start feuding in the ring, and then
who knows?
And then OG comes in and just beats the living hell out of them.
I don't know. And the way that they ended that Being the Elite, the last one, with the shot of the Bucks, like torn between both guys, and then Tonga right in the middle of them, just chilling.
That's what I'm saying.
There's something happening. Tonga's about to take the reins, I think. He's either going to take the reins or the Bucks are going to take the reins. I have a theory that the Bucks are just going to get sick of it and they're going to go, fuck it. We're taking over. This is our show. Because they alluded to that and another being the Elite, where somebody was like, everybody knows you're the leaders of the Bullet Club. You have been for a long time. But we let these other people believe that they are.
Yeah.
Who knows, dude?
Yeah.
I think the whole story is awesome.
I do too. I love it. I think it is very like HBO drama level, like Game of Thrones.
I think that it's
web of storyline.
There's just a big storyline that they've been building it for a long time, and I think it's really great the way they're doing it.
Awesome. Well, now that we've
WWE needs to take a cue.
Yeah, I mean, if we can talk about 40 minutes of just the
Main event
stuff that's happened in a month. This has happened in January.
Yeah,
in February.
Well, they've been building this for months,
but nothing that we,
but
everything that we've talked about has
finally, everything's finally imploded in the past month.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy to think
nuts.
about. All right, so let's move on to the 6th match of the night.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little easier to talk about the rest of these matches.
We're just gonna fly through these. Part of it is because a lot of these guys are Ring of Honor, which we do keep up with on a very. It would not to the same extent that New Japan.
Yeah.
But what's cool is we got to attend a Ring of Honor just like a month or two ago.
And we saw all these guys.
We got to see all these guys.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Guys. Yeah.
So Hiroki Goto and the Beer City Bruiser. Man.
Fun match.
What a fun match. And
really fun.
Two things. One, the Beer City Bruiser is a character straight out of a comic.
Yeah.
He's just a big, pompous.
Yeah.
Just.
You're right. He's a very comic booky, juggernaut type character.
Exactly.
Just a very cocky, pompous, big guy he's not because he is a heavy set guy, but he's very the Blob. You know what I mean? Very
Yeah. It's he's just kind of like a bruiser.
Yeah.
And from if he was from somewhere, I'd say maybe Beer City.
Like a Beer City Bruiser.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
That makes sense. I like that. I like that analogy.
But it's great, and he would come out with a giant cigar and rub his face in it.
Very Kingpin-y.
What's cool about him though is that he does things that he has no purpose or no what's the term I'm trying to think of? No, not reason, but he shouldn't be doing the things that he does. Like when he does the jumps off the top ropes.
Right,
and,
he's a big
flips.
dude. He does things that a guy his size should not be able to do.
He should not do that. Well, and even if they can do it, they shouldn't do it because there was one spot where he jumps and tries to do the splash or something like that.
Yeah.
And he straight up lands on his knees. That's it.
Yeah.
Just his knees.
Yep.
And I saw that and I was just like, oh, he's not going to be able to walk tomorrow.
No, he's a big dude. And I like the fact is when he comes out drinking a beer and he's just spitting beer all over the crowd. And the Japanese crowd is so cool with it. At one point somebody's just smiling and happy that he's got beer spit all over him. Yeah. And I was like, ew.
Just eating it out of the air.
I was like, don't spit beer on me. A, I don't want to be spit on altogether. And B, I don't want to smell beer. I don't want you to spit beer on me. Gross.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's awesome. And
I loved it.
He owns that character so well. And there's nothing else that he could do. Dude, physically, he could not be anybody else. He has to play that role.
A dude who is that big, he's got such a gas tank, man. He went that whole match with Goto it was nothing, dude.
Yeah, he started slowing down a little bit towards the end, but it was not. You would think a guy his size would gas out, 2 minutes into the match.
Dude, and Goto. Talk about somebody who's just stepped up, dude. Ever since he won that belt from Suzuki, man, he's just he's on fire, man.
Well, it's hilarious because on the last podcast, we were like, we don't even know who this guy is.
Who the fuck is Goto?
Yeah, now we're both this guy's awesome.
Now we're both Goto!
Dude, Goto's my favorite. I've been following him for so long.
Yeah, dude, go Goto. Go Goto the goat. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Go the goat.
Yeah, he's the
greatest of all because he's the
goat.
Is
that what that means?
The goat.
I thought people were just calling them farm animals.
Yeah, Beer City Bruiser the pig.
Yeah.
That was rude.
Kitty's the cow, man.
Kitty
is the cow.
That was rude. I shouldn't have said that.
I know. But, you shouldn't say a lot of things like throwing our people who comment under the bus.
You took that
Those
the
are
wrong
our
way.
loyal fans.
Loyal fan.
You're healing it up today.
I am. I'm the heel of this podcast. I am.
Does that mean I'm the face? Does that mean everybody loves me?
You're the Kevin Kelly. I'm the Don Callis of this group.
Yeah,
I
Goto
certainly
is
don't.
Goto is awesome though.
Yeah, he's great. I really like his style and
What made me really attached to Goto is that in his match with Suzuki, so that was really my first chance. I'd seen him around, but I didn't even know who he was really. Seeing his match with Suzuki though, it's one thing to be liked for going out and just being able to like beat somebody up or being like a powerful like Goldberg figure.
Yeah.
Like that is very much one type of superstar. There's another type of superstar which to me gives a little more credence to the wrestling ability of these people, or the superstars that can go out and just get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, can just take a beating.
Just take a beating because, it's one thing to be Randy Orton and just RKO everybody and, whatever. But it's another thing to go out and just take 70 chops to the face from Suzuki.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, because I think back on that match, and he just got the shit kicked out of him, and he came back and won, obviously, which is great. But it's like it just takes a whole nother breed of person to be able to just take a beating.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he didn't win because he was super overpowered, or he didn't win because he was just the final boss.
No, he won because he outlasted.
Because he can take a beating.
Yeah.
And that was just so cool. I loved it.
You know what? I'm going to gas this guy out by letting him kick the shit out of me.
The Homer Simpson approach.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so that was they just put on a fantastic match, and I knew that Goto would have to win. I don't think any of the champions lost any of the ROH guys, right? I don't think any of them took a pinfall.
No.
Yeah. So I assumed that he would win, but I think the way they told that story, there was a couple times where I'm like, well, maybe he's gonna win.
No. Yeah, I think you're right.
So I think all the champions went over. So yeah, that was great. Let's on to the next match.
Yeah.
We talked about that one for 13 seconds.
Well, this is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, because Jay White won this one, right? Because didn't they win this match?
Well, Jay White didn't take the pin.
Right. No.
Sure. But I can't remember who won.
No, did Dalton Castle win or didn't they win that?
I don't know.
Because
we should probably know what we're going to talk about before.
Well, no, because I watched the match, but I don't remember.
I can't remember the end of this match either.
Because I remember.
You want to look it up?
Yeah, I feel like
we have no business in talking.
No, I know, but I feel like Beretta kind of ate the pin on this one. I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember the ending here.
Does it not say right there? Well, anyway, how about you vamp a minute? I can't believe we're talking about this and I don't remember what happened. Okay, to be honest with you, when I was watching this, I fell asleep. Or not this match, but I was starting to fall asleep. And this is when my internet was effing up.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you complaining.
I was so pissed. So mad. It kept stopping in the middle of the damn matches.
Yeah. So while he's looking that up, I'll just go ahead and kind of talk about this match. This was fantastic. Jay White has grown on me so much, and we keep saying that every time because the first glimpse of Jay White, I was like, man, I don't know about this guy. But he is so technical, so clean, he is really owning this character. And I like what they're doing with him because he's a new take on kind of the heel over there. He's not silly at all. He is very straightforward, very serious. So I love that he's kind of this super serious guy, but still has charisma in the sense that he can cut a great promo. Fale, I think of Fale, he's kind of a no BS kind of guy, but he's a little more lackadaisical. Like he really doesn't care that he's in the ring, whereas Jay White has a little more charisma, but he's also kind of lone wolf in it a little bit. Now, I know he's part of Chaos, but he's very open about me and Okada, we're going to have a match. I'm only here to stake my claim until I can take Okada out because he knows that he needs to be part of a faction. And so that's really cool. I love that kind of mole in the group. And so there's a kind of distrust there, and he's that kind of true heel kind of aspect to it.
Jay White, Beretta, and Chucky T did win.
Okay.
So
who did they pin?
I don't remember. It doesn't say.
Dude, I bet you they pinned Taguchi.
I think so. I think it was. I think one of them did pin Taguchi. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember that finish though.
I'm almost positive Jay White won that. Anyway.
Well.
But they won. It was a good match. I do remember the match pretty well.
One thing that stands out in my mind in this match was when they always do the train. Taguchi gets the train going.
Yes.
And I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually get hit by Taguchi's, because Taguchi always jumps up on the
He does the
top
butt.
rope. Yeah, he does the butt thing. I don't think I've ever seen anybody. I've seen his butt getting eaten by.
Yeah.
I think in this one he got drop kicked.
Yeah.
I think he's been like power bombed off the top and things like that. So I mean, it's just so funny to see how he constantly tries to do that and just never gets to do it.
Well, and I love the fact that they brought in these elements of, you got guys like Jay White, Beretta, Chuck Taylor, and then you have Jay Lethal, Dalton Castle, who is the ROH champion. You have Jay White, who's the U.S. New Japan champion, and Jay Lethal, who is one of the longest reigning ROH champions. You have these guys who are really decorated, but you put them in this match with somebody like Taguchi, where there are comedic elements to it. You have guys who are really serious, like Jay White, and but then you put them in a match with Dalton Castle, who can be silly, and Jay Lethal, who has moments of being silly, and Taguchi, who's silly. Like, it's this really awesome,
Did
like...
you say Jay White has moments of being silly?
Jay Lethal.
Oh, I was like, Jay White is like
No.
one guy.
No.
That's
Jay
my
Lethal
bad.
has moments of being silly. I mean, he was Black Machismo, for God's sake. Like, he was, you know what I mean? Like, he's just this... But he's so talented. Like, Jay Lethal is so talented, and Dalton Castle is so talented. And I just really enjoyed this match. I thought it was just a fun, interesting match, like with funny moments and silly. I will say, and I know I've said this before on here, but I love Dalton Castle. I love Dalton Castle. I agree with you that Jay White is really growing on me, like a lot. Mm-hmm. Jay Lethal I've always enjoyed. Taguchi I enjoy. Beretta is Beretta. I mean, he's enjoyable. He's pretty good. Not a fan of Chuck Taylor.
Yeah, I didn't.
Not a
see
fan of
much
Chuck Taylor.
about him.
I haven't really ever been a fan of his. I mean, I get that he's just supposed to be a dick and that he's just is what he is, but I don't really like his style. I don't like his gimmick. I'm just not a big fan of him.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't. This is one of my first times I've seen him, and I just really wasn't all that impressed. Back to Jay White before we move on to the next one. Jay White, what I think is growing on me is that we're starting to understand a little bit more of his character. Mm-hmm. When he first showed up, there was a little bit of mystique to him. Mm-hmm. Nobody really knew kind of what his motivations were. Nobody knew. He looked like he was trying really hard. Mm-hmm. But as we continue to see his character, we find that he's really just kind of owning that character. Mm-hmm. I was afraid that he was going to come across as kind of like an edgelord a little bit. And at times he does. But for the most part, he's just super stoic and carries himself in the ring very well. Like, just like physically, and like his movements and stuff.
Got a body like you read about. Dude is jacked.
He seriously looks like a Greek god.
I mean, he is unreal.
Yeah.
It's so funny too when you take guys like, you look at a guy like Jay White who's just shredded to the gills and just looks, and he's this and he's a champion. He's the New Japan U.S. champion, right? But then you got a guy like Dalton Castle, who's the ROH champion, who does not look like your typical champion. But I love his style. I love the way he moves. I love the way he wrestles. And you see like the comparisons and just like the difference between them. And it's just so cool to see like what a different champ looks like what different types of people look like.
Yeah, totally. And just there's a great clash. I mean, you couldn't get further apart from each other too. You got two champions, but you've got one who's, the lord of the underworld, and then you've got the other one who's, floating around.
Little peacock.
Little peacock out there. So it's awesome to see how two polar opposites of essentially the same level of wrestler.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So let's jump up
Can we also
oh
just,
my gosh, yes.
Can I also just talk real quick about how they opened the match with Taguchi bringing out like fried snacks. Like, he brings out like a gas station like bag full of snacks.
They were chicken fingers.
They were chicken fingers, and like Jay Lethal like looks at it and goes, "What? Like, why are you bringing out chicken fingers?" And then Dalton Castle's like, I'll eat one. And then they like eat chicken fingers before they wrestle.
And so when usually they're talking about who's going to wrestle, who's going to be the guy that like starts the match, they're sitting there just chowing down.
They're chowing down.
Snacking.
Yeah. And they're just like hanging out eating.
Oh, I loved that.
It was super funny.
Taguchi's really growing on me. He's fantastic.
He's great.
All right. So let's talk about the fourth match.
Oh, this match.
Dude, this was... okay, first off, Hiromu might be he's like top 3 for me.
You
And
said
I don't
that.
know where
You
he
said that
lists.
a lot.
I know, but I love everything about him. I also know that I need to enjoy him now because he's going to have like a 5-year career and then he's not going to be able to pick up change.
No, for real. The dude goes so ham on everything he does. Like every match I watch, I'm like, Jesus! Like there's so much shit that happens in his matches that I'm just like, please stop doing this to yourself.
Dude,
like,
yeah. I'm like, think about your children.
Like every time that like when Don Callis is like, that'll take years off your life. Like, let's be real for a minute. Like what we're mainly talking about is the match between Hiromu and Will Ospreay that took place at New Beginnings. That was phenomenal and it was so good. But dude, they just went balls to the wall and just did things
Full throttle,
that,
man.
Dude, went nuts, man. But I will say, talk about this match. I love when they do, especially with these juniors, like with these junior heavyweights, when they do these triple threats or, 4-ways or things like that. There's always so much that happens, and there was no better person to be put in this place than Flip Gordon. I think he really was able to be like, look what I can do. Talk about a guy who's slowly been making his way up and really pushing his way in and displaying what he can really do. And man, Flip Gordon is like slowly becoming like one of my favorite performers because he's just so talented.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to have a guy because he's super American, but
Yeah.
he kind of, the UK has a lot of flippy shit out there.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have an American that's kind of following that same like Will Ospreay style.
And he brought a different presence to this.
Yeah.
Like you got two guys who aren't very flippy. Like they do flippy stuff, they do high risk stuff, but everything Flip Gordon does is just different. Like he just does like not even just flippy shit, but he just is innovative. He just does new things, and he brought a totally different style to this. You know,
sure, totally.
Because you have Hiromu, who's the dude that just goes ham on everything and does all these just crazy high risk, hard hitting things. You have Kushida, who's kind of the old guy at this point. You know what I mean? The guy who's
time splitter.
The time splitter. The guy who
Marty McFly himself.
I mean, really. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I mean, anybody that
just
can
so
just
silly.
build their gimmick.
And he's amazing.
He's super
so amazing.
good. He's super good.
He's
but
such a good wrestler and has like the worst gimmick of all time.
do you know he's a 5-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion?
I give him a 1 star for his gimmick.
You really hate the gimmick.
I
don't you?
hate- it's
You
the
hate
worst.
it.
It
That's
is
what.
the worst
That's why you
gimmick.
don't like Kushida more than you do. Is
Right.
because of that gimmick alone.
I mean, he is on.
So
he's
shallow.
He's damn near
So shallow.
like Ibushi levels of talent. Like
shallow.
so athletic, so just incredibly talented in the ring. But he has no personality.
So shallow. This is the same guy.
And I like him.
This
That's
is,
the thing is his talent. He's talented enough for me to still
Yeah,
like
but
him.
you-
But I
you're-
just can't get behind his gimmick.
You're a gimmick guy. If
I
you don't get
love
into the gimmick, if you don't
Yep.
get into the gimmick, it's the same thing with like the whole Sonata thing. Like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Although
He's turned it around,
they've
man.
remedied that,
He's got that rhino horn now, which is way cooler than like the goat
back
mask.
to kind of badass.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, but back to this match. It was a great match. It was just a really good match. It was a great, fun, kind of chaotic triple threat match that they do.
Yeah.
There was one spot in this match actually that shows, because there was a couple times that Flip Gordon was trying to do his Flip Gordon type thing. It didn't quite pay off the way he wanted it to, but he would come back and kind of remedy it. Like there was one point when Kushida was sitting on the top corner and Flip jumps up on the top rope. And I think what his intention was...
Oh, he kicked him, didn't he?
His intention was he was going to kick him and then do something to Romo on the outside, which he kind of did. But he
fell.
He whiffed that kick, though, and he fell.
Yeah.
Because he kind of tried to, like, tag his calf to kind of make the kick, but Kushida just sat there like, you didn't get me.
A little weird.
So he
didn't get all of it.
So he tags Hiromu, jumps back up, and then does, like...
Whatever the other move
and then
was,
does like a head scissors off the top.
Yeah.
So he turned it around, but it was like things like that where it was like, I think he was going for something different, but had to, and there was a funny spot that I thought was really funny where at the very beginning when they were like trying to figure out what they're going to do, it wasn't even a spot, it was just a funny thing that happened where they're all three trying to like grab hands, or not really knowing what they're going to do. And then somebody yells something from the crowd in Japanese, and the whole crowd laughs, and Flip Gordon looks at him and looks at Kushida, and Hiromu goes, I don't know what they just said, and Kushida just kind of says something, but blows him off. Like, it's super funny. Like, if you go back and watch it, he's trying to kind of like get a thing going, like Ring of Honor style, where he's like, I don't know what they just said, and Kushida like, something, and then like, that's it. But it's like, does not pay off for Flip Gordon whatsoever.
That's awesome. That's amazing. My question about this match is, does Hiromu Takahashi have the biggest chops in all of New Japan?
Yeah. They're pretty bad. Every time
they sound brutal.
They do.
The guys will be red the rest of the match. I mean, he hit a couple guys on this one, and I was just like, oh.
He's got some really powerful chops on him,
dude. And you know what? You know what? I think this. I realized this last night. He can chop overhanded.
Yeah,
like because a lot of guys are because he's so short.
Yeah,
taller guys you can't come down because you start losing all your power on the way down.
Right.
Whereas he can just rear back and slap you right at like the apex.
He's not a big guy.
Yeah, but he can literally go over his shoulder and slap. So I think that's where he gets all that power from. Whereas taller guys have to do kind of like that backhand across, the body kind of chop thing.
You know what I think is funny? I know this is not about the chop, but he does have hard chops. Yeah, every time I see him, I'm like it's hard chops. I like now how he wears that time bomb jacket, but he carries his other jacket.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? He just drags his other jacket behind him like it's taking the place of Daryl. Like it's just like he just drags this jacket. And I thought about that last night. I've seen this the past like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, why does he just bring that jacket out? Like he just hangs it up on the side.
It's
like,
fantastic.
It's just funny.
And then he's like feeding people. Him and Will Ospreay shared chicken strips together, or chicken wings. Did you see that?
Oh yeah,
like wing. Yeah, he brought wings to the press conference and had it. And that was before their match.
Yeah, and he was just eating it with them, like they were just hanging out, like, just eating. His character is just so funny.
It's so perfect, and you just never know what he's gonna do. Which is,
he's very creative.
When he's on screen, you just have to watch because something's gonna go crazy.
It's very creative.
Something I like about him too is that he plays to his character. Where, and I watched a breakdown. Some other YouTuber did this. So I'm going to steal a little bit of his thunder here, but he talked about how there were matches where he'll just go out, run through all his power moves, and pin.
Yeah.
Like, which is awesome because that's such like a unstable mind kind of thing. Like, I'm going to go out and just go ham.
And I think
that fits his character so perfectly.
That's his character. He's the time bomb. He's just this unstable character.
Right.
Like, he's this unstable, really strange character. And I think it's funny because at the end of this match, Flip wins it. Flip gets the pin and waits for Kushida or waits in the ring. Because Ring of Honor, their thing is that they do handshakes before and after the match. He waits in the ring to show some respect. He was, and Kushida comes back in and they have a little thing. And Hiromu just gets the fuck out of there. Doesn't even care.
Like, I'm out.
Just walks off. Just walks off. Turns his back and walks off. Like, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, so good. All right, third match, David Finlay. Funnel cake, which is more fitting, honestly.
Although you say that, but I see David Finlay and I'm like, okay, I don't feel so bad about my fat ass wrestling. Like, not saying he's fat, but I mean, he does not have your typical body. He has no shape to him at all, which he's really good. He's very talented.
Well-rounded.
Very well. Boo. Boo.
Yes.
Boo.
5-star joke.
You should have seen his face. You guys can't see it, but the face, he says it and it gives me the side eye like, eh? Like, it was just not boo. But he really is a very, very good wrestler. He's very well-rounded. I'm not saying this as a joke. He really is. I mean, he's the son of Fit Finlay. I mean, the guy, and he came from the dojo, man. He was a young lion. Like,
Doge.
He's really like, obviously he wouldn't be there if he's not somebody that could put on a good show. But no, he has no, like when you look at him, like he really has no muscle definition.
So one thing that was interesting was...
Made me feel good.
Yeah, him and Finlay Finlay and Jay White actually went through the Young Lions together.
Yeah.
And so they actually had matches with each other and just kind of did their thing.
He's good.
Yeah, no, he's great. But what's interesting about him, though, is that Jay White goes off for excursion.
Right.
Finley didn't get an excursion.
Nope.
He just went straight up to the main roster.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is you look at how Jay White has come in and just lit the fucking world on fire when he's come back. Yeah. He's now a champion. He's
I think that's kind of the
part of chaos. Like, he's doing all this stuff. But what's interesting is it just shows the importance of having an excursion.
I think you have your young lions that they have a lot of faith in, and they send them out on excursions, and they want them to become better and get these better characters, and they come back and that's the push. And then I think you have these other young lions who are good, but they're mid-carders. They're just guys that are like, okay, they're good. We put them through our system. They can do really well, but they're here to put on good matches, but just not go any further than that. And I think that they know that. I think that there are guys who are just, I think guys like David Finley, Chase Owens, those kind of guys, they know what they're there for. They know why they're there. They go out there, they wrestle, they basically stay in Japan at all times. They're homegrown guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that's, but then you have a combination, like in this match, which was David Finley and Juice Robinson versus the Young Bucks. But you have a combination like Finley and Juice that really work well together. And you have guys that can put on a good match with the Bucks who are still, on top and still on fire and can still put on a really good, consistent match. But these guys are guys that they can do that with. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I never want to discount Finley. I see that.
No, but you make a really good point.
It shows how much how important an excursion is, because I think what happens is you get that huge push as soon as you return. Absolutely. Whereas a good example is if Finley came back out of nowhere, then I think that it would be like, okay, well, let's see what he can do. We miss him. And they say that Jay White actually improved so much over his excursion. Yeah. They also say he put on a lot of mass.
I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I think that he bulked up. They said.
By the way, I think I blacked out when I was just talking just now because
your eyes glazed over.
I think I was just rambling.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what did I just say?
All the color dropped out
when
of your
I
face.
finished, like I was like, what was I just talking about? Like I made a point, but I don't remember what I just said.
Yep. Well, here, I'll just re-say everything you just said.
Okay, don't. No, but
Please don't.
No, but I agree with you though. But I like I was saying, like I think that there are guys who they have a big, like this guy's going to be somebody. This guy can be a lot for this company, and then there's somebody who's like, this guy's good, and we raised him right, but they're just mid-carders. They're not meant to go any further.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think that Finley fits firmly in there. And I think if he would improve his physique, and
sure.
Just work on his character a little bit, because he just kind of comes across as generic.
I agree, but fucking Juice. Dude. Can we talk about Juice?
So fantastic.
I want Juice to do more. I want Juice, and he has. They even said, like, talk about a guy who's built himself up in the past year. Like, Juice is looking good. He's looking like ripped up.
He's looking real jacked, baby.
He is looking real jacked, baby, and he's in really good shape. He's getting better. Like, he's just. This match was just talk. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this match. It was really fun. Yeah. It was a really fun match. It was a classic Juice Young Bucks match. It was.
Does Juice Robinson work in America? Does he come over to WWE and get the same? I don't think so either.
No, he tried.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
he was in NXT and he didn't do well.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even though he's improved, even though he's done better, do you think he could come back? I don't think so either. Which is crazy because he is such a lovable character over there in the New Japan circuit.
He doesn't work.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. Yeah. Not for that. Not for
the American audience.
No.
Yeah. But in the Japanese audience, he's fantastic. He's Kristen's favorite, my wife's favorite. Yeah. And he's one of my top favorite guys. I love what he brings to the ring, and it's different. It's unique to New Japan, and he brings an intensity with him.
I think there are indie guys who work like it's New Japan, and I'm throwing that in there too. I think there are indie guys who work in WWE. Ones that don't, like, and ones that ones that work in NXT, but probably won't work in the main roster. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have guys like, I'll call him by his NXT name, Chris Hero, but Cassius Ohno. You have guys like Cassius Ohno who have been in NXT for a really long time. He won't work in the main roster. And he probably may not ever go up to the main roster. He's probably just going to stay. But he's a guy who's super talented, who is very I'm going to use it your way, well-rounded. And a guy who just continues to gain weight, doesn't want to lose weight. And
Does he still wrestle in the underwear?
Yeah, the underwear and the jerseys.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's a point where...
No, but because when you watch his old stuff, dude, he used to be, I'm going off on a tangent. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
this isn't even New Japan. This just turned into
saying,
a WWE podcast.
I'm just saying there are guys that work and guys that don't work, and I think that Cassius Ohno is a good example of a guy that works well enough for NXT, but doesn't work well enough for the main roster. Juice, I don't think works for the company at all. Yeah. I think
I agree.
He could possibly come back to NXT. Well, why would you?
Yeah.
You're building such a name in New Japan. You don't need to,
He is a superstar in Japan, and he's a mid to low carder in WWE.
It's a lot like the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks will never work in WWE.
Yeah.
They may one day, but they don't want to.
Yeah.
Because look how successful they are on their own.
Right. Yeah, and I think the Young Bucks, this is a whole nother podcast, but I think the Young Bucks, they love the creative aspect of wrestling. They love the merch. They love the storytelling. Yeah. They love the in-ring creativity. They love doing all that stuff so much that I think that they would never trade that in for a WWE opportunity, because that's kind of where people go to not necessarily die, but like their creativity and their control over their characters and their storylines and stuff all die there, because they have an entire team that creates that.
I think that's like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, they asked him about WWE, and he goes, would you ever go to WWE? And he goes, why would I?
Yeah.
Why would I? I don't need to. Like, why would I? I've already built up enough here. Why would I go somewhere where, like, he's like, I can do what they do in their, he's like, I can do what they do in my sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to.
And it's true.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was a really good match.
He's ascended beyond.
One of my favorite parts of that match, though, I'll tell you, was when the Young Bucks always just talk shit, and they just say really funny things. And there's a part where he's like, hey, Nick, let's do some of our badass tag team moves. He's like, you got it. And then they do he goes, let's do one of our badass tag team moves. And they do like this like jumping like frog leap, leapfrog push thing. But anyway, it was just really funny.
Yeah, there was another spot in there that I thought was really cool. It was Juice. He grabbed one of them, one of the Bucks, and I think did kind of like a bulldog on him. But what was cool was he started the running bulldog kind of deal.
And the other one comes up behind.
Turns around. Yeah. And then he actually threw it into a clothesline last minute.
Yeah, so he does a clothesline bulldog
clothesline.
Because he had one in a headlock, and he hits the other one for the clothesline, and does the bulldog at the same time. Yeah, but it was like a sit-out clothesline.
Yeah.
And
it was cool because it didn't start off as a... You had no idea that it would be a double move.
It was cool.
And I love
really
that
cool
setup.
That was a really cool spot.
Okay. Second match, cheeseburger. We got Delirious, who is a blast. The guy that got pinned twice in a row and lost on the second.
He's such a weird dude.
And then Jushin versus Hikuleo, or other known as Leo Tonga. Which one was he? Tonga?
He was Leo Tonga.
But
you know why they changed that, right?
Yeah, well, they say it's his dad forced him to go back to Hikuleo.
Yeah, his dad's like, that's not the name I gave you.
I also think it was like there was Leo Tonga and Tonga Leo, and it was like, what?
Yeah, we can't do that.
Actually, here we go. Tonga Loa.
Tonga Loa.
I always say Leo Loa.
Tonga Loa.
We know. Yeah. You guys know who I'm talking about. You guys are way smarter than us about this thing.
Very true.
And Tama, dude, I love Tama Tonga.
I do too. I love Tama Tonga.
He's so good, and I think he's so underrated.
He is, and that's why I think I think he's gonna be the one that takes over for the Bullet Club.
He'd be a fantastic
I think it's gonna
leader.
be a total switch in power. And I think
love that.
Like when they did the end of being the Elite and showed him as the leader, and when Chase Owens was like, I'm Team Tonga, like he already is a leader. He's already somebody that people look to. You know what I mean? And this group, these three guys are just, and talk about like Tama Tonga, the way he wrestles, the way he talks, the way he looks, the way he moves. I love it all. I love it. Yeah. I love his character. And Hikuleo, right? Hikuleo? Yeah, Hikuleo. Like, that's just a dude that just has potential.
Like, he's so huge, too.
He just has a potential as a giant.
I love his body style, too. I love his body, dude. I really enjoy looking at his curves and his slender hips and the way he's got just legs that go for days.
Hey.
What?
You're freaking me out.
What happened?
You okay?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. So, what match? Oh, yeah. So no, he's great though.
God, you got glassed over there for a minute. You just, I got lost you.
No, but I really do love it because he has a different body style that you don't see a lot in wrestling.
It's true.
Usually guys that are his size are expected to be monsters in the sense of like Brock Lesnar or Braun Strowman.
He's not.
But he's actually just a little more, he's quicker.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool that he's a little more slimmer than those monster types.
He kind of has like a swimmer's body almost.
Kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a swimmer's body mixed with like a football player kind of.
Yeah, but he's not slow. He's not slow.
No,
and
he's quick.
He's definitely not like a Fale.
Yeah.
Especially maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just don't have that kind of.
And he's their little brother.
Right.
Which is
yeah.
weird.
Which is hilarious.
He's the biggest one.
But it's cool because he can do he can hit moves fast and hard as opposed to just being like a juggernaut style.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like it.
Beer City Bruiser
Well,
style.
and I liked the way this match was laid out, like because you do have the Tongas and and then you have these you have tiny little cheeseburger who's like 125 pounds soaking wet
With a rock in his pocket.
with a rock in his pocket. Yeah, that was it. He's 125 pounds soaking wet with a rock in his pocket. Because he's small and
tiny.
And
what's funny is he's good, but he's not all the like he's kind of wild. He like wings his punches.
Yeah.
He kind of like flails.
Yeah,
he's
he's very wild. Like, and the
which
thing
is hilarious because it just fits his character so well.
And I love it because he's so over there.
Yeah.
And I love that they started this match with Hikuleo coming out and Cheeseburger comes out and it wasn't Cheeseburger, it was Delirious. He like backs out. He backs up and he backs into Hikuleo and like chops him. And then goes, shit, and turns around and tags Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger comes in, chops him, and goes, shit, and turns around, gets Jushin, tags him. Jushin comes in, chops him, and goes, shit, and then, like tags in Delirious again, I think, or Cheeseburger. But it was so funny because it just all three of them did the same thing.
Dude, that was a blast.
It was a really good, I liked that a lot. It was a really fun match. Obviously ended the way you would think it would end. And
did it? Did it end the way you think it would end?
Yeah.
How did it end?
Oh, it didn't. It didn't end the way you think it would end. I forgot. No,
right?
Hikuleo ate the pin. Yeah. That's right. He did because I remember that because I'm going, yeah, it did. No, it didn't. No, because they're supposed to go again for the never open weight.
Oh, I see.
Because I think, aren't the Tongas, don't they have the never open weight with Fale?
Probably, yeah.
They're pretty sure they do.
I know. I know.
Pretty sure they do.
Yeah, they do. They got it. Yeah, no, that's gonna be awesome. But I loved this match.
Yeah,
I thought
fun.
it was super fun. I loved that you had the super powerful dudes against the small but mighty.
Yeah, it was fun.
Or just small in Cheeseburger's case.
Yeah, I always root for the small but mighty.
All right, in the last match we're gonna talk about the Tokyo Pimp versus Bad Luck Fale, with Bad Luck Fale versus Kitamura and Toa Henare. I want to first off, let's talk about Kitamura. We've got a lot that we can say about him, so we'll keep it brief because we are almost an hour and a half into this thing. So,
40 minutes of which was
Kitamura is so interesting.
He is
because
he's strange.
Yeah, because he's a young lion.
He's not young.
Does that mean he's still considered a young boy? At like 30-something years old.
Technically. I think he's technically a young boy. He is because he's out on the ring. He's out he's outside the ring with all the other young boys
it's just so
doing
funny.
all of the young lion shit. You're right.
It's just so funny to think of how old is he? Like 35 or something like that? And he's a young boy. And he's also jacked as all fucking get out.
He's 32.
Yeah, 32 years old, which is like
old.
50 in wrestling years.
Yes, but you look at him
or
though,
17 if you're Ray Martinez.
You look at Ray is not your typical wrestler. Ray is one of those guys that when they say like DDP was like 35 and they're like, wow, that is really old, and you just said like 32 might as well be like 70. Ray Martinez is like 45 years old,
but he says he's like
his ring age is like 30. The dude, it's crazy. He loses time. The ring is like a time vampire to Ray Martinez. It just, he gets younger. Then he gets out of the ring and he immediately gets old again.
Dude, he's fantastic.
He turns into our dad.
The guy will take a bump on anything. He's the kind of guy that would take a bump on like a concrete stairs.
Yeah, and he's like, it's fine. And then if you're like, I don't want to do that, he's like, pussy.
Yeah, and I'm like, am I pussy?
Am I pussy because I don't want to take a bump on stairs?
Oh wait, no, I'm just not a bump monkey. That's what it is.
God, he will take like any bump, and if you don't want to take that same bump, he's like, whatever. Like it's like, wait, what? How are you still? And he just gets like better looking and like more jacked as time goes on.
He's Benjamin Button.
He's aging in reverse. He is. He's aging. And you know what? Shout out to you, Ray Martinez. You're my hero.
Ben Hameen.
Ben Hameen?
Yeah, Ben Hameen. That's how you say Benjamin in Mexican.
Is it?
I think so.
Is it? Is Ben Hameen the way you say it? I think that's the racist way you say it.
Oh, man. All right. So, Katsuya Kitamura, love you, Ray. Don't backstabber me in the next match. If you call it, I'm just going to jump out of the ring screaming.
Yeah, please don't kill me.
Yeah, backstabber Kellen. You can call a backstabber on him.
No, don't. No, he'll just call another tornado backbreaker where he like puts everything into it.
Just actually
and my whole body has like a giant like pain shoot up it, and I'm like, I hope I can stand up when he lets me go.
Did you wiggle your toes?
I did. I literally did. I'm like, I hit the ring and was like, I really hope I can get up. And I did. I could. It hurt, but I could.
Just so you know, if you ever break your back, I'm going to still pin you. Or have somebody pin you. You're going to take the pinfall.
Yeah, fuck you, Ray. Love you, Ray.
We're not going to cancel the match. We're just going to finish it.
Have somebody else come in. Be like, oh, I think he broke his back. Pin him. That's what he would do.
Or he'd be like, oh, you can't feel anything. That means you can take all the bumps now. You can't get any worse.
Ray's like, man, I can't feel my back. All right, bump me on the outside. Bump me through a table on the outside.
Bump me into the crowd.
Bump me. You know what?
Just sacrifice me.
You know what? Shatter glass on everything on a table. Light it on fire. Bump me through that. Oh, put cinder blocks on top of it. Bump me through that.
Also, can I just say one of my favorite spots that happened at Elote? You said glass and it reminded me of this. So it was Murder Squirrel. And I can't remember who is wrestling now. It might have been Suey Sawyer or Psycho something. And
you're talking about when he did a dive?
No, I'm talking about when he takes a bag out, which looks like, it's full of like tacks or something like that.
Oh, it had.
Turns out it's a bunch of tortilla chips.
Tortilla chips. That was one of the best things I had ever seen. And Ray was calling it, and the whole time he's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like he's calling it like he's pouring thumbtacks and glass.
Yeah, so he pours tortilla chips all over the ring, and then just takes like a scoop slam or something into it, and he plays it up like, "Oh god!" Like grabbing his back, and the whole crowd is just like loving it. It was the best. It was the best spot.
And the owner comes up to us afterwards and like, you guys are sweeping that. Because it made such a mess.
Dude, it was everywhere.
It was really fun. It seems like every time, like, we weren't in that though. We weren't in that, but we were watching it. But it seems like somehow every time they clean that canvas, it gets dirty again.
Just something. Whether it's powder,
Yeah, because remember when we got in there and they cleaned it and we got powder all over
everywhere. Dude, it was everywhere.
Oh, it was so bad.
Oh. All right. So Katsuya Kitamura, he's doing his 7 series match right now.
Correct.
Or is it 7 trials? Something like that. Yeah. Which is really cool because
it's like Hercules.
I think what's going to happen is I think it's going to expedite his excursion because you can't send him off for 2 years.
No.
He's going to come back in a wheelchair.
And plus with the amount of substance he probably puts in his body, I imagine his heart's going to explode.
Yeah, that's the question too. Obviously, I'm sure he can find somewhere to get his
that's
whatever
true,
he's
though.
on.
That's
but if he
true.
comes to America,
right?
Is he going to come back slimmed down,
or are they going to put him on an excursion to America, or are they going to put him somewhere
in Japan? Because he says he wants to go to America, but I mean, he's going to come back looking like. Looking deflated.
Depends on where you want to go. It depends on what kind of wellness policy.
Looking real slack, baby.
Looking real slack.
Looking real slack.
Looking real rubbery, baby.
So I think
real slack.
Looking real whack, baby.
Looking. I can't even.
Yeah. So we'll see what he does, but There's no way he goes off for 3 years.
He goes in, Brock Lesnar comes out, Stretch Armstrong.
He really does. It's gonna be awkward. So, let's see. Bad Luck Fale did his thing.
Yep.
Yujiro brought out the hot chick.
That's his thing.
Toa Hanare
was there.
Just showed up for a paycheck.
I mean, that's kind of, I feel like.
No, he's good. He's good.
He's good.
They're not doing anything with him at all.
No, he's just there.
He just shows up to be athletic.
That's it.
Yep.
And I think that it was a good match. I mean, it was good. I mean, it was actually really good for, you forget how, even though these guys are all kind of your lower mid-card guys, they know how to work. Mm-hmm. I mean, even somebody who, like I told you earlier, like Bad Luck Fale, who just looks like he does not want to be there. Like, he's just there to be there. Like, he came in with, like, sweatpants and a t-shirt and was like, I'm just here to do my thing and call it good. Like,
yep.
It's just, you know what I mean? But they all, I mean, you always forget how well Yujiro can work.
Yeah.
He can work really well. They all can work really well, but
Oh,
they get overshadowed by, other people. But
yep. Oh, real quick, Kitamura is losing all his matches, by the way.
I think that's part of his.
I hope that, and because
trials.
they talk about it's all a learning experience. They're talking about how he's inexperienced.
Because you can't be put on like a gold, because he is a Japanese Goldberg. Like, because I mean his finisher is a spear and a jackhammer. I mean, literally that's his thing. But the thing is, look what happens though. You can't build somebody like that.
Yeah.
You can't have somebody be a young lion, somebody be somebody who you're training to be in this business for a long period of time, and have them win every match and overpower everyone, and just because that becomes expectant.
Yeah.
That becomes.
Well, and he's eating the pins too. He's not just losing.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
he's losing
the pins.
clean.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact is, that's good for him. That's good because he doesn't need to be brought up as a guy who's just, yes, he's jacked, yes, he's big, but you can't bring him in like a Goldberg type that's just going to run through everybody, because nobody likes a character like that. I mean, they used to. They used to like Goldberg type characters, but we don't like those kind of characters anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Like, you don't want somebody who can just run through everybody. You want somebody.
Well, and on top of that, it gives him room to grow. I think what they're going to do is he loses a bunch, he leaves, and he comes back. So we expect that gives him a reason to grow, and because you can't, like you said, you can't just throw him right into the mix.
Right.
He's going to lose.
Right.
He's going to go off, and then that's going to be his learning opportunity when he goes off. So he comes back as a better, more under, because the last thing you're going to remember is because what happened was he went from being the best young lion to the worst on the main card. So I think you have to have that to show that journey and that path. But everything with him is expedited. Usually you see these sort of things across 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, because they're very patient in New Japan. But they know that they can't spend 6 years developing Kitamura as a character. Last question. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah. Well, it's just, you know what I'm not a fan of?
What?
I just figured out in this match. Maybe I'm just not a fan of it because it was against Kitamura. Because I am a huge fan of Kitamura. I love his style. I love what they're doing with him. But like I said, like, and Bad Luck Fale and Takahashi won this match. I don't like Bad Luck Fale's finisher.
Oh, I love it.
I don't like it.
You know what it is though, right?
Yeah, it's the choke slam lariat.
Yeah, but you know what he does, right?
Yeah, he pulls up and down.
But what does he do with his other hand? He does it. So this is this is why I like it. This is why I like, because it's the little touches that I love about this thing.
He uses both hands.
Yeah, but if that was it. But what he does, if you watch, he takes that hand back, flicks the grenade pin, and then brings it in.
Yeah, I don't like it, though.
No, that's freaking awesome. And it just shows that, like, not only are you just getting chokeslammed, but you're going to get your heart exploded in your chest. But I love that little touch of just, like, the badass, like, not only is it going to be a punch, it's a fucking grenade to the chest.
I didn't like it on Kitamura because it just... when I watched it last night...
If he hits it right, it looks amazing, but he's missed it a couple times.
When I watched it last night, it looked gross.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. And I haven't watched enough matches with him to really get, like, a good... So what I've seen of him, I've only seen him do that a few times.
Yeah,
and
if he doesn't hit it right, I didn't see him hit it on
I saw him
Kitamura,
do it one time. I saw him do it one time against Tanahashi, and it was awesome because Tanahashi does his
high fly flow.
High fly flow. He does the high fly flow to him, lands on him, and he is laying on the ground and he catches his throat while he comes down and picks him up and then bam and does it and it looks sick.
Yeah, I think
so
what happened
sick.
was
last night it looked nasty.
Knowing that it was Kitamura, he probably didn't jump hard enough or something like that.
I think that's what it was.
Sometimes what happens is you have to get up for that impact
It looks
to
gross.
look bigger because he catches you on the way down. But sometimes some dudes will just kind of sandbag it a little bit and it looks weak.
I think that's what happened because it looked weird and it looked not great. And I was like, what was that? Yeah. And I don't know if it had to do with Kitamura not getting up high enough, maybe sandbagging a little bit, not meaning to, but he's just a big dude.
Well, he's relatively inexperienced too.
Or like I said, Fale just looked like he didn't even want to be there. It could have been that. I don't know. He was doing well. I mean, it's not like, but anyway, just want to throw that little.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a cool move, but it was not executed properly, I don't think.
I've seen it a couple times where I'm like, ooh. Cool. All right, so to finish up the podcast, let me ask, what emoji would you rate this
why do we do
this match? The entire card. I give it a salsa dancing woman.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
What would you say?
I'm going to give it a duck. But here's the thing. The duck with its butt up like it's going for a fish. You know what I'm saying? So you have the water ripple around it with the duck butt and the feet. Butt?
Yeah. It's the duck butt emoji.
Yeah.
All right. Good chat. Pretty soon somebody's going to write all of our ratings and emojis and stuff down, and there's going to be some kind of secret code that they crack.
There's not.
And they're going to be like, wow, we finally figured out
wow, that's a really good rating. He gave it 17 stars.
Tell Meltzer he needs to step up his game.
Step up your game, all others.
All right, guys, that is it. We are done. I'm going to now promote myself an hour and a half into this.
Good Lord.
You can follow me on Instagram. I am Proxima_Bear, PROXIMA_BEAR, which if you don't know, that means Space Bear. And that's just, you get to see me running around in a panda mask, take pictures of hot models, and that's pretty much it. And then you can please subscribe.
Yeah.
I'm begging you to subscribe.
Please,
I need a new pair of shoes.
God.
The soles are falling out in this. I don't even have enough money to buy the rest of my clothes. So I've got shoes on, and that's it right now.
True. It's kind of weird doing this whole thing with just looking at his dong.
Yeah, and Kellen's over here looking like a king dressed up in his T-shirt and jorts. I'm really...
That's me. Wearing my jorts.
He's showing off all his money that he's got.
Jorts and my sandals.
No, but for real, just subscribe. It'd be cool.
And please comment. We do want to hear your comments. We do want to hear what you have to say.
Kellen can't wait to just drag you guys over the coals on air.
It's true.
Make sure you are super respectful so Kellen can just crap all over you and say how awful of a human being you are.
I'm the heel.
He's the heel of this podcast.
I'm the heel of this podcast.
I don't know how to act as a face. Great job, commenters.
Ugh.
I am so happy that you're here.
Ugh. I hate you.
I give you all the respect
I hate you.
ever.
I hate everything about
This
you.
is why I'm not a face.
Well,
ever.
and I think that's the thing, and that's the beauty of this podcast. I think this podcast gives us I feel very comfortable on here, and I feel like I can say whatever I want, and I feel like I can make comments about. I mean, you give me shit for it, and I give you shit for what you say, but I'm saying that I think it's nice to have an outlet where you can say what you want, where you can be like, hey, I don't really like that guy's move, or hey, I don't really like this portion of it, or hey, I don't like this guy so much because he wears the wrong jacket, or whatever your fucking stupid excuses are for things. But
looking at you, Sonata.
Anyway, but you can follow me on Instagram at Kelbert, KELBERT 77.
A lot of cat photos.
There's not.
Lots of cats.
There's not. There's like a couple cats. No, I don't know if there's any cats. There's like maybe one from the beginning. I don't really post a lot of cats. It's mostly just like books and TV and things that I'm watching it into at the moment. And a lot of wrestling photos. So
check out my book.
Check out my new book I'm reading.
Reading Harry Potter #3.
I'm on 5.
That's the Chariot of Secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Nailed it.
I have a huge Potterhead.
Potterfile. So please again subscribe. We would really love to see what you guys have to say and see more of you guys watching this. We're really happy for the reception we have received. And thank you guys so much for those of you listening. We really appreciate it.
Yep. And real quick, I just got a message from Mr. Ray Martinez himself.
Oh, God.
And he literally sent us a picture of a panda skin rug and said the only good pandas are dead.
He must have heard us talking about him.
After all we said nice about him.
I know.
In this podcast.
I know.
He responds to us like that.
I know.
Well.
Shit.
Yep. We're going to bury you, Ray. In your next match, we're going to bury you. We're not going to bury you.
He's the promoter.
Yeah. Please don't bury us.
We're fucked.
But just for the rest of our lives, we're just going to live with Ray Martinez in our ears, just talking mad shit, and we just have to take it.
On our last match, he's going to whisper in one of their ears, like, take him out.
And he's going to say...
Make him where he can't ever walk again.
He's going to say, backstabber.
Yeah, he's going to be like, he's going to have a child. Make it where he can't walk.
Take that child away from him.
Oh, God, Ray, don't. I love you. Please don't. Love you, Dad.
All right, that's it for the old podcast. Time to hit the old
Dusted Trail.
Bye. This is getting out of hand.